that Archie Manning is the best college football quarterback we have seen since Tim Tebow.
He's not better than Kyler Murray, mother. They said Mel Kiper was going to fire. They said he was pushing Shador Sanders' agendas. It was over the top. Now, I'm not saying I even disagree. There are levels of glaze, and I think Mel Kiper reached enormous levels. At least that's what the kids call it, of amazing glaze. And I think that we've seen some absolute Krispy Kreme level glaze happening with Mr. Paul Feinbaum, the champion of the SEC, who loves the SEC, but is also hated by every single head SEC coach. Paul Feinbaum has more hot takes to say, and would you believe it? It's something that nobody agrees with. He says that Arch Manning is the best college football quarterback we have seen since Tim Tebow. He's going to say it because this is ridiculous.
Paul Feinbaum, what are your expectations for Arch?
The absolute roof. I think there's a reasonably good chance that Arch Manning will be sitting on the front row in New York at the Heisman ceremony. That's assuming that his team does what it's supposed to do and compete for not only the SEC, but for the national championship. And I really believe they will. I think Steve Sarkisian, who's one of the most amazing play callers I've ever seen, made a critical mistake late in the year. He was way too loyal to Quinn Ewers, who was banged up and was really ineffective. Had Arch Manning been instituted in the second half of that game, like Nick Saban did a couple of years ago with Tagovailoa, I think there's a reasonably good chance that Texas would have beaten Ohio State and won the national championship. They're very capable of doing it again this year. I believe also that Arch Manning is the best college football quarterback we have seen since Tim Tebow entered the scene in 2006.
What are you?
I'm literally wearing a Texans hat. Sometimes I wear a Texas hat. I am a Texas fan. I'm going to push so much Arch Manning propaganda down y'all throat this year. I'm pushing Colorado propaganda. I'm pushing Texas propaganda, Arch Manning propaganda, Jimmy Horn propaganda, and did I say Arch Manning propaganda? And Shador Sanders propaganda, okay? But this is on the top of my propaganda list. This is the most ridiculous statement I have ever heard in my natural-born life. 24/7, I literally just typed top 10 quarterbacks of the last decade. Number 10 is Kyler Murray. Dog, I'm sorry. I love Arch. I think he's going to be a 6'4". I think he's going to win 3 Heismans back-to-back. I'm sorry about it. Sorry about it. He's not better than Kyler Murray, motherfucker. I'm sorry. Kyler Murray, and he played for Oklahoma. I hated Kyler Murray. I hated his short twinkle toe running around like he was Mr. Krabs. I hated it. But I am not going to lie. In all the propaganda that I will push, I'm going to, Arch can throw 7 interceptions in one game. I will Nathan Peterman, and I will make a way to make it not his fault. What I will not say is that Arch Manning is better than Kyler Murray. He's number 10 on the list. Heisman Trophy winner, 4,000 yards, 42 touchdowns. Caleb Williams, USC, Heisman Trophy winner. Kind of good at football, number 1 overall pick. Patrick Mahomes, timeout. This is for my real ball knowers. This is not for the sometimes ball knowers, right? And if you're watching this, you're probably a real ball knower, okay? The revisionist history for Patrick Mahomes. Please, let's not do it. They thought Patrick Mahomes was going to be Jay Cutler with a bigger arm. That's not me. Look up what the scout said. It's crazy because, never mind, we're not going to get there. But the fact that Patrick Mahomes is number 8 on this list, I should probably show y'all the list, but there's so many ads across the screen. Anyway, Marcus Mariota? Stop. The Flying Hawaiian? I don't think he was called that. But I called him that. Marcus Mariota, Trevor Lawrence, who was literally coming into his freshman year, they were comparing him to Andrew Luck, the most perfect quarterback comp of all time. Okay. So for asthma, Deshaun Watson, he should not be named. Bryce Young, one of the most efficient and proficient college careers. Mr. Bryce Young, Lamar. I don't even want to go number 2-1 Joe Burrow, number 1 Baker Mayfield. That's just the last decade. Now, we're not even, I hate to do this to my guy, because I'm going to, this is the last time I'm ever going to speak negatively of Archie Manning. I promise you. I promise you. Okay? Let's take a look at Archie Manning's stats. I'm not one to just say stats. Again, projection. Steve Sarkisian is a phenomenal offensive coordinator, and I think him having an offense built around Archie Manning, I think it's gonna be scary for y'all. It's gonna be real scary. My issue with this is it feels like you're just setting Archie Manning up for failure. You know what I'm saying? You can run, and I'm about to prove something. You can run a super proficient offense and win a national championship, all that, and not even be considered anywhere near a top anything. What's it called? Quarterback, right? Not top nothing. You could have one of the most explosive, efficient seasons in college football offensive history. You want to know why? Because not Mac Brown, Mac Jones did it in 2020 with Devontae Smith. Go look up that season. One of the most proficient and efficient. That was one of the most explosive Alabama offenses in history. One of the most explosive offenses in history. I believe that was Steve Sarkisian. If I'm not correct. If I'm wrong, am I wrong? I think I might be wrong. And I say that to say, why set Arch Manning up for failure when he has a combined from 2023 and last season 63 completions on 95 attempts. He hasn't even thrown 100 yards in his entire collegiate football career. Okay? So, you compare that to some dude named Tim Tebow. Again, this is the dude that he said that the most exciting since 2006 he didn't start. So, cool. 2007, 3,000 yards through the air, 895 on the ground, 673 on the ground, 2,743 through the air, 910 on the ground, 2,895 through the air, averages of 9.4 to 9.2, touchdowns of 20. Oh my God. 2007, that boy was going crazy. Anyway, but that was, you run around in the playoffs, or not playoffs, golly, BCS. Jeez, so many different things. College football is weird. Anyway, awards and honors: AP Player of the Year award, Consensus All-American award, Davey O'Brien award, Heisman Trophy, Maxwell Award, Manning Award, 2008 Maxwell Award, 2008 SEC Offensive Player of the Year. Can we not do this to Arch Manning just yet? Please. Not yet. And of all people, Cam Newton is going to have, I think, a very even keel take on this. But we're not going to go there yet. I do want to, I know we talk about glaze, we talk about bias. I don't think there's anybody more biased than Peyton Manning towards Arch, right? But let's hear what he had to say about Arch Manning on the podcast. Oh, and thank you so much. Beautifully Blessed says, because they want him to come out of college early, and I pray the hype doesn't convince him to do so. I don't think that he will come out early. Beautifully Blessed, thank you so much for the extra $5. I really appreciate everything y'all donate. Again, it means a lot. But you do, I think you're right, but I think the reason you're right is a little different, that he's not going to go, and it has a lot more to do with his family and the way that they have set up, and the fact that he don't need no money. There is no rush for him to go to the NFL. He don't even need no NIL. Even if it was just, if there was no such thing as NIL, there still wouldn't really be much of a rush. You got how many NFL players? He gonna be high. I think Archie gonna be all right. But let's hear what old Peyton had to say about his nephew. Nephew, right?
Look, Eli and I are his uncles. We try to be there as a resource for him. But Cooper has done a great job with Arch, and they've handled all of the different things that have kind of come their way in the right way. And I'm excited to watch Arch play. He's been very patient. I thought he threw the ball really well at the camp. He and Garrett Nussmeier in kind of our 3 throwing exhibitions really threw the ball well. All the quarterbacks threw it well. It's impressive. I mean, they make throws that I wouldn't even think about making. I mean, Arch made a throw the other day that I'd have to hit the cutoff man in order to get the ball to the actual receiver. And Nussmeier, Lenoris for South Carolina. I mean, it's impressive all the way around. But look, he's been patient. It's been well documented. The fact that he's, been there 2 years. I'm such a believer in mastering the system that you're in. And when you have new coordinators every single year in the NFL or college, that's just frustrating to me. I was lucky, Tom Moore, Pat was there my entire 14-year career. Belichick gave Brady some different coordinators, Charlie Weiss, McDaniels, O'Brien, but it was the same system, right? Nick Saban makes his quarterbacks, our new coordinators, learn his system. So does Kirby. And so the fact that Sarkisian calls the plays, and Arch has been there 2 years already, is going to know the system. That's going to be a huge advantage for him. And I'm looking forward to seeing him get out there on the field. He's worked real hard. I love seeing him go into that camp for his teammate. That's being a good teammate. That's being a good wingman. And I'm excited to get down there and watch a few games this year in Austin.
Hey, man. Again, we know that Peyton is going to be a little biased. So, obviously, what's coming out of his mouth is going to be a lot of positive things. But to say, look, and Beautifully Blessed made the good point about him playing his career. A lot of people, Grape Tea News is kind of talking about it. Hey, Arch needs to play out. Arch is willing to sit 2 years. Grape Tea News. I think y'all are all making really, really good points. And the point goes beyond just the things that y'all are saying, because are you right about NIL, Mr. Y High? Yeah, but I would say Drones from Virginia Tech. Look him up. Drones from Virginia Tech. He has the same quarterback coach. I forgot his first name. I think it's something Drones. He has the same quarterback coach as Cam Ward and Shador Sanders. He's got like this nasty sidearm. He's super mobile too. So Drones from Virginia Tech. He probably stayed. Carson Beck from Miami. He stayed. That would have been an easier name to bring up, but he stayed for NIL. For Arch Manning, again, I think it's something else. I think it's that last name. Actually, I mean, I know it's that last name. It's the same reason why Shador Sanders had no problem going from FCS or HBCU to Colorado, because, I mean, he's Sanders, so he could have gone anywhere and got the NIL money. It doesn't really matter what the collective gives him, because he don't need collective money. He can just get brand deals, or just tap his Hall of Fame dad on the shoulder and say, "Hey, Dad, can I get a car, please? Like, come on, man." So same thing with Arch Manning. I think the Manning family has a few dollars to their name. And then on top of that, let's just hypothetically say that, the NFL players aren't helping Arch Manning in any way money-wise, right? Let's say they're only helping him connection and resource-wise. Come on, dog. Why wouldn't I just take my time? Like, you gonna be all right. And I preach this so much when I talk about quarterbacks, because, over these last few months, I've talked a lot more about the NFL than I typically do, because obviously this is a college channel. We started as a college channel. Now we're going to talk about both in the season. We'll see how I navigate it, but do the best that I can. But the more I talk about NFL quarterbacks, because I think it's different, NFL and college. I mean, I think clearly it's different. Freshman, I want the freshman start right away. I don't even care if you're a freshman quarterback. It's a simplified system. Get your happy ass out there. Let's go. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? NFL, I do not believe that, right? So I believe that you need as much time as possible. So to say that, I would say that, hey, take as much time as possible at the collegiate level. I remember when Arch Manning came out and people were saying, oh, well, he's at this private school. He looks so small. He's going against bad, blah, 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 X, Y, Z. All these things that they said about Arch Manning, right? He was going to be a bust. They were overhyping only because of his name. You fast forward 2 years later, and as much as people are saying, oh, Steve Sarkisian, the confidence of, or trusting Quinn, making sure, staying loyal, all that other stuff, I think it's even more apparent that you give Arch Manning time to grow, get into a system. Maybe Arch Manning was a little small. Maybe Arch Manning needed a little bit of a growth spurt, because this now going to be a junior Arch Manning who gets to go out there, knows not just the system, not just the play calling, and I guarantee, I've said this every Arch video, if you don't think that Steve Sarkisian every night before he went to sleep has been drawing up special plays for the Arch Manning regime, boy, You about to see so many fucking emotions, boy. Hey, the CBS screen gonna explode. I promise you, boy. I promise. I can't guarantee we gonna beat Ohio State in the shoe, but we gonna have some motions. Arch Manning gonna go out in motion. I promise you. Steve Sarkisian's got some of the nastiest misdirection about to be cooked up you ever seen in your life, son. Okay? But I say all of that to say that no, I don't think he's going to go nowhere anytime soon. I think that time is not the essence, but time is the luxury that Arch Manning has. So he's going to wait the 2 years. Now he's going to start as a junior. Then I think he's going to start for 2 more years. He's not just going to pop out this year. Why would he? All of his other family members finished school. And again, it's not about money. Who's to say Arch don't enjoy being a Texas Longhorn? Who's to say in 2027 that I don't know, let's say hope it's not the Browns again. But what if it's the Browns again? You know what I'm saying? What if it's, I don't know, what's like the worst team? The Raiders. You feel me? Well, I mean, you beat Tom Brady. It's a little better. It's not bad. But let's imagine that they pull I don't know if you've heard of this, an Eli Manning. what if Arch Manning pulls an Eli Manning? And now with the NIL and now the fact that he sat for 2 years, he could play for 3 years. He's good. If I remember correctly, because he hasn't used the eligibility, so he gonna be he chilling. So I think the more time the better. I only think it's gonna add to what Arch Manning is. But saying crazy things like this is not going to help. And what does Cam Newton feel about the Archie Manning playbook?
They went into the University of Texas with the understanding that they're trying to put Arch Manning in the best situation to be developed over time. It's not about playing. That's going to come. But who's going to develop this specific talent to be the best talent by the time he's eligible to go to the next level? A lot of these parents and a lot of these players get so jaded off of the fact that, hey, I'm trying to play early. No. Scratch that. Go somewhere that after 3 years, you could put yourself in a position to go to the league. That doesn't mean that I'm going somewhere where I could play early or start. Just because you're starting doesn't mean you're getting developed. I've always felt like I was more talented than Tim Tebow. But I needed Tim Tebow to show me what I lacked. Tim Tebow is an unbelievable leader, verbally and by actions. Archer would be a fool if he has not learned anything from Quinn Ewers, how he prepared, how he lead his team, and just how he handled and managed the expectations for being a quarterback at a university like Texas. The synonym for Heisman is hype. The player who has the most hype typically wins the Heisman. I don't think another quarterback has had this much hype at the University of Texas since the great Vince Young. You are
since Vince, baby,
freaking
since Vince.
Fool if you don't think Cooper Manning, Archie Manning, Eli Manning, and Peyton Manning has any type of involvement with the decision-making of their nephew, their grandson, or their son. Because with a name like Manning, it holds a lot of weight in this football world.
You know, I've been harsh on Cam Newton. A lot of people have been harsh on Cam Newton about his takes. But, believe it or not, when he's talking about the quarterback position, I typically open my ears, right? I typically stay peeled and glued to his words because he typically knows what he's talking about. He's played with elite quarterbacks. He's gone through the trials and tribulations as a collegiate quarterback. So a collegiate and NFL quarterback. So, I think that he has a unique perspective on the situation. And I think with a unique perspective, he can share the unique perspective uniquely. But not what we're focused on. What I do want to focus on is the other part of the waiting aspect that I didn't even touch upon, right? Cam speaks about the benefits of that. Well, I was talking about it from the NFL perspective, right? Like learning, sitting behind, growing, XYZ. Like, hey, how does Arch Manning do stuff? Arch Manning was not a big vocal guy, but you could tell like that was his team though. Like you could tell that it never felt like, oh, Arch Manning isn't leading, but it was very Marcus Mariota-y, right? Where it's like, hey, He's a clap guy. He's a hey, we're here guy. He's a whenever Arch Manning is operating, everybody's looking. Everybody's locked in. He's not over the top. He's not whatever. But Quinn is right here. Sorry, I said Arch, but Quinn's right here. You know, Quinn's not over the top. Quinn's not gonna yell too much. But he's also like a fun guy, right? He would joke around. Like that was his thing. He would joke with the receivers. XYZ. Arch already kind of has that relationship with the receivers. He does the whole little, you know what I'm saying? That whole little celebrate, like that growth of okay. I can get to my receivers like that. Like Peyton Manning alluded to. Oh, I'm gonna show up to Trey Wingo's youth camp that he's trying to put off. Boom. Like that adds a little bit to that. And then on top of that, like you said, like learning what those intricacies means. I think that the reason why I am so excited about Arch Manning, and it feels like hey, it's whatever, it's like y'all better buckle up. It's Arch Manning. It's not because it's not about expectations for me with Arch. I'm gonna end it here. As a Texas fan, I am not excited about what Arch Manning could it be. I don't care. I don't care if he wins a Heisman. I don't care if he only throws for 2,000, 3,000, whatever. I am excited about his floor, and I am super excited about his floor. I think the floor for Arch Manning is someone who can take this offense and take it to heights we haven't seen. I think Arch Manning is the quarterback that Steve Sarkisian dreams about running his offense. The boots, the full rollouts, all the misdirection. He can go behind his back, all that. A little bit more mobile quarterback because Quinn wasn't super immobile, and that's why he, probably Steve Sarkisian wanted him because Quinn could wiggle a little bit. He could run a little bit, but obviously it almost felt like the ankle injury almost got worse because then obviously last year he had no ankle. You could see he was walking in the sacks. It was ridiculous, but. And that could be another question of why didn't he start, but I digress. What I will focus on is that I think that this is a match made in heaven. And I think that if you're in the SEC, you better buckle up, son, because I'm going to be really obnoxious if we win football games. But that's all I got for Arch Manning. The hype is going to be absurd. The hype train is only going to get crazier. So we'll see if the narratives change. They did this with Shador. They were talking about Shador as a top quarterback. So, hey, what do they switch it on him? Do they say there's one bad game is all it takes? Is a phantom interview or anonymous quote? Probably not because he's a Manning. They won't allow that to happen. But you let me know down below in the comments. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you rocking with me. Like the video if you like it. Dislike it if you don't like it. Subscribe if you enjoy football content of all shapes, sizes, forms, and also fashions. Continue to be great. Like it if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it. Bell icons, all that fun stuff. Thank you so much. At peace.